This is the Book Deal podcast,
where you will discover the inspiring stories behind your favourite books.
We interview seasoned and debut authors, as well as publishing industry professionals, to bring you the best tips and advice on how to get that elusive book deal.
So no matter what stage of writing you're at, we've got you covered. I'm Tina Strawn.
I'm Madeleine Cleary.
And I'm Natasha Rye.
And join us as we pull back the curtain of published authors.
One deal at a time. The Book Deal podcast acknowledges the traditional owners of the land and waters which it's recorded on and pays respect to their elders past, present and emerging.
Welcome back to the Book Deal 2026 edition, our next season. Madeleine, Natasha, how are you?
Hello.
Hi, so good to see you both.
Yes, so good to see you. And we're not going to talk about the weather, are we? We always talk about the weather when we first start.
Do we? No, let's not do that, although we kind of did. So moving past the weather, it's been a little while, hasn't it? It's been, we finished off last year with a bang with our live podcast recording with the incredible Hayley Scrivener at Writing New South Wales. How much fun was that?
That was so good. I know.
We're going to have to do it again, I think, this year.
Absolutely. Yes, we've got a whole year to think about who our agony aunt shall be for our end of season. I think we make that a routine, right? Our end of season live chat.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. It was so much fun to meet some of our listeners, and the Writing New South Wales crew. I hadn't met them before, so that was great. And of course, we all got together in person, so that's just a good excuse to do it again.
And we got to meet like some of the debut crew in Sydney and the debut 2026 crew. So that was really
so exciting. What an exciting year for the debut 2026 crew.
And we get to spotlight them again this year, which is good, all the debuts. So everyone will start to hear a little bit about the books coming out this year. So I'm very excited to hear and read and listen. And I know, Tash, you've got plans, don't you, with the 2026s?
Yes.
Is that top secret?
Oh, not really. It's going to be a little panel discussion, and it's going to be a before and after. Ooh. I don't know why I said it in that spooky way. But yeah, just
it's intriguing.
Exactly. Because I'm so fascinated by writers' journeys, like just to get a glimpse of what it felt like before and then after. Because I know that I just feel like me and cool things have happened, but I just love hearing that shift or whatever, that experience. So I'm really excited.
We should one day listen back to our old episodes, because we've really recorded our before and after on this podcast, haven't we?
That's
see
true.
What we were anxious about, and if we're still anxious about the same things, compare that. I think that would be cool. Well, we should put that. Why don't we do a catch up? We just spend like a whole day listening to ourselves talk.
Sounds great. But it would be really fun to go and revisit that and see what we were thinking and feeling, like you said.
I'm actually I did a similar, I'm going to be releasing in February, a similar episode because I interviewed Mark Mapotza Russell and Ali Parker over a year ago now about their first books, and now they've subsequently published their second book. So talking about sort of feels about what it's like to publish your second book, because I think everyone assumes you know what you're doing after you do your first one, but that may not always be the case. So
so interesting, and I'm sure it's different. The feels are different and the experience is different, and I guess do kind of know what's coming, but also that can completely change. And
you're about to publish your third book, Tina.
Oh my gosh, literally this Wednesday. So the day before this episode, when this episode airs, it will be out in the world.
Gosh.
Yeah, very exciting. Yeah, so that's the third installment of the Wilder Zoo series. Nika and the Great Search it is called, and it's been super fun. And super fun to play with this one as well. And I have a really fun launch for the book. Actually, if anybody's on the Gold Coast on the 7th of February, it will be held at Currumbin Wildlife Hospital. Because the third book, middle grade, obviously, as if anybody's read any of the others, about a girl who lives in a zoo. But in this third one, there's a lot to do with the wildlife, with a wildlife hospital in this book. And so it's going to be lots of fun. In the book, they are looking for a lost little wild koala Joey. So I have the koala research team from Currumbin there as well, and they will be doing a little chat and a little demonstration along with their detection dog as well, which is going to show us how he helps to find the koalas in the wild. So lots of fun things planned.
Amazing.
Yes, and only a few tickets left, if anything.
So have you been kind of busy with all of that over the last few weeks, Tina?
I have. Yeah, that feels like as I've said before, an everyday writer, and it's still, all the author admin, as we know, is quite big, but all of this planning for the release as well so I've been doing that instead of actually getting words down. But I just have to, because I just don't have time to do both. But it's been super fun. And, as you know, in that pre-launch period, you get on the socials a little bit more and, kind of get out there a little bit more, because, people are posting things and you want to share that. And that's really lovely. And I've been doing some workshops in the school holidays as well, which has been really cool at Brisbane Libraries. And it's a really busy time, isn't it? Mentally and physically. So
do you feel refreshed though, even though you've been so busy? Do you feel ready?
Yeah, I think I feel ready. I think it's come up pretty quickly. Can't believe we were having this conversation a year ago about the first one coming out, and so now here we are. So for all those new authors who have signed and your release date is like 2 years away, never fear. The 2 years actually goes super quickly, and before you know it, it is upon you. So it's been super fun. But luckily, we've just had a big break from the podcast, although
we got to catch up over the summer as well, which was nice, in person. Tash, we missed you.
I know, I had serious FOMO.
I know. And you were not replaced, but Emma Gold did also join us. Tash,
my heart.
For that lunch. Which was really lovely to catch up with Emma as well and have a chat, all things podcasty and books and all that sort of thing.
And we were laughing because it was a warm day, I think, when we caught up down on the Mornington Peninsula. And I said to Emma and Tina, come on, let's go for a swim, jump in the bay. It's beautiful. Both of them looked like I was like an insane person, because it was like maybe 27 or 28 degrees, but still quite warm. And so, both of them just abandoned me for their, whatever. And so I went in by myself and had a swim. It's gorgeous.
Yes, we both need it to be a little bit warmer than that before we go diving. Diving in the water. But
you would have come with me, Tash, surely. Would you have come with me?
I might have gone half deep, squealed, and run back out.
You're all weak.
Yeah, the only way to do it. I know. We're not as tough as those Melbourners, but I did manage to get into the bay, so it was lovely. But yes, we did have a catch up. But apart from that, we haven't recorded for a couple of months, which is pretty crazy. But we did replay some of our past most popular episodes from the book deal as well, which was really great, and that everyone seemed to really enjoy them as well, and even for us to have a little listen back, and that was really fun as well. So I'm keen to see what our summer season will be at the end of this year. Because we have some amazing authors and interviews coming up, don't we? It's very exciting.
We do. It's going to be a big year. I'm very excited about this year. Yes, lots of fun guests, but we'll keep it top secret for now, except for the little hints we've given.
Yes, that's right. No, it starts off huge too, so that's fun, and I can't wait to share that with everybody. But I want to know what you ladies have done over the break. There's been a lot. It has been Christmas and a lot of break just writing as well. So let me know, Tash, can I start with you? What have you been up to?
So I have been really doing things a little bit differently at the start of this year. So I'm on a deadline for book 2. So I've been working on structurals, which is very different this time around to Onslaught. It feels harder because, I don't know, it's just a different book. And I'm struggling with parts of it that I know aren't quite right, and I don't really know how to fix it. So I'm waiting for my editor to step in at some point once we get to the deadline, and we can have a chat about that. Also, it's a different editor for me because for Onslaught, the editor that I was working with had to leave after the Pantera acquisition. So I have a different editor who's lovely, but it's also our first time working together. So there's all these firsts, even though it's a second book. a couple of things that I'm doing is I've brought a notebook and I've started writing in it. Initially, I was thinking about writing in it every day, but that felt like a chore, so I decided just to write when I feel like it. And it's been amazing because I've been making these connections around random things that I maybe if I wasn't paying attention, I would have missed. And these ideas are percolating for like a book idea that I can't quite grasp, but they're there and I can feel it. And it's really cool. And my intention is that maybe at the end of the year I'll go back and read over or look back at some of the entries and see what still speaks to me. And the other thing that I've been doing is I've been reading The Luminous Solution by Charlotte Wood.
That's a great book. Yeah.
Oh my God. So I just read the essay she's written about how writers write, basically, and this idea about writers create a problem first that they need to solve, that they're not just answering a question or solving a problem that already exists, they're creating. And for some reason, that has just fired me up because for so long, I'm like, what do I do? Like, what is my process? And that just spoke so deeply to what I do because she's right. I've been calling it a question, so it doesn't matter. It is a question, but I've been coming up with questions that exist in different ways, but don't exist in the way that I think about it. And then I find the answer, which of course makes it hugely interesting and creative, but also really difficult.
So these questions are for the book that you're writing now. Is that
Yeah,
what you mean?
so she was saying that they did this study a while ago and it was about artists, and artists were given something to look at and then paint it or interpret it. And she said the artists that just interpreted it directly from what they could see were great, they were fine. And then there were artists who looked at it and considered it and thought about it and then went and did something with it. And she was saying that apparently when they looked at these artists again a few years later, the ones who were really thinking about it and doing problem solving exercise first had longer or had like longevity in their creative careers or flow. And again, she's not saying one is better than the other. It's just interesting. So
Problem solving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Writers are problem solvers. And I think that really, really resonates with me. Like, writing sort of crime, that is problem solving, isn't it?
Literally, exactly.
You run into an object and you've got to go.
But the thing is, and also though, Mads, like you're the one creating the problem, the crime, right?
Yes.
Like it's not something you already know about that you're trying to work out. You're like, what would happen if this person and this? Yeah.
It's a funny mindset. But the writing, because when you said you got a notebook, so you're writing the hand pen paper. 100%. And we've spoken about it before on the podcast. It absolutely, and I can attest to this myself, just helps with that problem solving. Like I do it, sometimes I do it if I'm just like trying to get an idea down, but if I have a problem as well, or I think this just kind of isn't working, even if I just get a pen and a notebook and I just start writing, and it's rubbish. A lot of it's rubbish and it's unreadable. And, I'll probably never go back and read it again. But the fact that just the process of writing it down, just writing all the words but what if this happens and then this, but then how come about this? Like it just seems to work. It's like it untangles on the page.
Even not just like writing down and trying to problem solve, even just writing down like what Tash was saying, observations of things. And it's sometimes that you don't know what purpose or direction they have, but
exactly.
They're there at least.
It's really cool.
That is cool.
It's really cool. And Tash, it's interesting because maybe it's like a New Year's thing. Maybe it's like this New Year's resolution because Ali Parker got for Christmas for me a journal, like a real live journal book, which I've never really journaled before. And I thought, oh well, I'm gonna write down something that interests me. And my day-to-day life doesn't really interest me, even though I think I should be writing it down, but it just doesn't interest me in the same way. So I was like, oh, well, what interests me is at the moment is trying to document all my memories from when I lived in China, because I really regret not journaling while living in China, because I was living a very interesting life there. And so I've been every day and doing this every day, and it hasn't felt like a chore, Tash. Like I'm excited to sit down and just do like my 1 to 2 pages. And that's been a joy. And you're right, Tina, the writing feels different as well because you can't go back and edit it
exactly
like you do it, computer. And I loved it.
Yeah.
It unlocks something.
And you know what else is really cool as well? Like I've been experimenting more with when I go for a walk, when I'm out, not to listen to music or a podcast, because that's my
Uh-huh.
go-to.
Hmm.
The scraps of conversation that I've overheard are fascinating. Fascinating.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it just, that's what, like, it's just, as soon as you start paying attention, there's just stuff everywhere in a way that, I don't know, it's
Hmm.
not even about a book idea. It's just speaking to some curious part of me or inspirational part of me or whatever. And it's
Hmm.
just, I'm really enjoying it.
Do
Yes.
you, do you find like this is for me when I've learned when I go walking, if, yeah, and I try and avoid like listening or music or whatever, I have to walk for an hour before my brain finally starts to think and problem solve,
Mm.
like through plot stuff. Because sometimes I'll go out with the purpose of thinking through my book,
Mhm.
and but my brain's like thinking about birds and trees and like random boring stuff.
Mm,
And then
mm,
after an hour, it's like, oh, bang, and
mm.
here we go. Here's the problem
Yeah.
solving happening.
Maybe the novelty of the walk, with the birds and the trees and stuff, has to wear off a little bit before your brain can then can
Yes,
sink
maybe.
into
Yeah.
thing. And there'd be some
Maybe.
biological reason for that.
And
We need
also
a
just from a
neuroscientist on.
purely nervous system perspective, if you're feeling a bit wound up or you're feeling like you need to get out and walk, the walking and the movement of the blood and all of that, it's sending signals about activation. So once the activation comes down, it's like a braking system, like in a car. When you go out, you're a bit revved up. And the walking in itself is like a break, and you start to notice your environment. And that's another type of break. And then once you're starting to really leave things behind, it taps into a different part of your system, which enables creative flow. It's really cool.
Tash. She always has the insights, Madeline, doesn't she? I love it. I
It's
love your
amazing. We should be bloody
insights.
paying you for this, Kat. Like, this is wonderful. Well,
Have you
that
know
makes
what's
sense.
hilarious? We have not spoken about us all journaling or anything, have we, before? But I too also have just bought a journal
Oh my
No.
God, that's so
with the intent to journal. I actually looked online and I was like, I want some kind of enviro one that I can keep refilling or something. I want it to be like, environmentally conscious. I don't know, why not? And I ended up ordering it, and it ended up coming from the UK, which probably I didn't know. I thought it was coming from Australia. Anyway, so that probably wipes out the enviro part of it. But it's really cool because it's not just a diary, but it's got all these kind of prompts and things in there as well. It's got some. I just wanted something that had a little bit of a space for putting goals in as well. I think that was kind of what I mostly wanted it for. I still wanted to plan my week because my week's hectic and is time boxed to the T mostly. But I wanted some space to also track, yeah, goals and almost every day kind of go, what are you doing today to meet your goal? Or what have you done today? Maybe I even put a word count in there, maybe just something to really get into the writing and and all the other parts of being an author. Like I'd really like to do more workshops or speaking or festivals and things like that. And so what have I done to progress that? Have I entered a competition? Have I pitched to a festival? Just something like that, because the days do just get away from me when they're so busy. And I just wanted something to document all that because so it's probably it sounds like we're all doing a different way of doing journaling, and but it's still sort of I guess inspiring ideas and our writing, and I think who knows what's going to happen once we start it. Maybe I will start writing a little bit more. I'm very much more of a dot pointer, but anyway, I'll see how it goes. But it's so funny that we've all just started to think about journaling. And I have been listening to lots of podcasts recently, and so many people have been talking about journaling as well. So maybe it's a little bit of a something in the air at the moment, and beginning of the year, right? That's probably when lots of people start getting a journal. But
And it's not scrolling. I think that's the most important thing. It's a time to just get off the tech, even just to get off your laptop. Because sometimes I find it really difficult to jump from like day job work, which is purely on a laptop and computer, and then just jump into writing, which is also on a laptop. And I don't know, it's just nice to just pick up and do some writing that's different and that's very tactile and
yes,
and
Yes.
it helps your brain focus a little bit. It's a
Yeah.
nice sort of dip. So yeah, I think it's lovely.
And it could almost, it's creativity as well, isn't it? Like it's
Oh,
sparking that
yeah.
creative side because I'm just about to go out and buy some brand new pens today for for it. I'm really getting in the vibe of it. And making it like a little bit of a ritual, I'm going to
Hmm.
take this time and sit down and start, write when I've got no interruptions and all those
You're
sorts of
manifesting, Tina, by putting out your
manifesting.
goals into the world.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yes, yes. Madeleine, can we have a little bit of update of what you've been working on?
I've had a pretty glorious summer. It's been really lovely. It's just been quiet and, lots of gardening and relaxing. And I might have mentioned that I've started a new creative project. So this will be, I think, book 3, I hope. And a year ago, I had started writing this novel and had written about 45,000 words and then put it down. And then in sort of Easter, I started again, wrote 10,000 words, and then put it down. Um, and I scrapped all those previous words as well. And then, so I felt a bit anxious about starting this project, but I'd saved it up for summer because I knew it was a quiet time and give me some time to think. And so, and interestingly with this, so I'm up to about 10,000 words again. I'm just going, for me, this is slow. So it's been a couple of months. But I've done away with word targets, like word counts. Normally, if I'm writing new words, I want minimum 1,000 words per day. Like that's what I want to do every single day.
Mm.
That's how I write. But for this book, I can't do that because I think I'm just spending more time with the characters, and I've got an ensemble cast. So I just feel like I need to first learn who they all are and how they're interacting with each other and their relationships and how they affect one another before I just start writing 1,000 words per day, which is what I had done for the first time, few times I've started. So it's a different book. This is a really different book to what I've written previously. And so it's almost like I'm trying to learn and teach myself how to write this before I go forth
Mm.
again. And it's much better and I'm enjoying it and I'm really, really liking it. And yeah, it's been really fun. So yeah, different process to what I normally do.
Mm.
I don't know if you guys have ever done that. It's really hard to write ensemble cast though, and I've been struggling, but it's been a good problem solving
Yeah, nice.
exercise.
I think that makes sense if it's taking a little bit longer. An ensemble cast, there's a lot of characters to flesh out and think about.
Yes.
And yeah, that's a really interesting process. I agree. I think every book I write's different. Ends up, I mean, I
Mm,
think I start the same process, but they just all end up maybe a little bit different for whatever reason. But that's an interesting process. I mean, I guess
mm.
some people do, they take the time at the beginning to do like full character sketches almost, where they
I
answer
can't do
questions.
that.
I haven't done that
Yeah.
before either, but I guess this is maybe your sort of version of it. You're kind of sitting there and
Mm.
thinking about them, but you're not doing like a full question and answer thing for your characters, but you're getting into their world
Yes,
in
and
that
I
way.
think for me, doing away with the word count just puts because I think I always do that as my measure of success. That's always like my measure of
Mm,
progress and success. And because I'm like doing words, but then I'm actually removing them and then having
mm,
side conversations that might probably not end up in the book. And that's my
mm,
sort of process. I thought just to remove that, and that will put less pressure on me and stress.
mm,
And I don't even check now the words I'm doing. Like I don't check. I every day, like back in the other manuscripts, I'd check my total word count and then measure my success by what the word count ends at the end of the day. And now I don't do that.
mm,
And that's been, I don't, yeah. So I think it's at 10,000. It might be more, it might be less. I don't even actually really think about it. And wow, that's been amazing.
mm. Yeah,
So
that's nice.
yeah.
So maybe it's more of a time thing. So instead of checking off 10,000 words every day, I've spent an hour or two
Mm.
hours on this because the thinking and the writing and then deleting is all part of progressing, which sounds strange sometimes. Deleting
No, but it's
10,000
true.
words is
Yeah.
progressing,
Yeah.
but it
Because
is. That's
I was
really
just
interesting.
thinking about that. And yeah, I definitely have time goals, like the
Mm,
word count. Just hearing you, Mads, describe that, I was feeling a little stressed. I was like, I was just imagining myself imagining setting a word count goal for myself. And I was like, actually, no. in the old, like not old days, in the early days of writing like a first novel, I think that was really important to me. But now I think I've definitely shifted into time. Like if I can devote this much time today onto that, that feels good.
And I just feel relaxed you saying that. And maybe it's because we can do this because we know we have done it before.
Exactly.
We can actually write a novel. Whereas I think when you're first writing your first novel, you actually don't know if you can do it. And so having a word count goal is useful because you can then see that progress and it helps keep you accountable and all that kind of stuff.
And I suppose the word count also might be useful if you're feeling a little blocked or you're not sure how to progress things. And you think, well, if I can write the 500 words today, then that feels better.
Yeah, you feel like you've hit the goal. But I guess as long as you don't beat yourself up and feel terrible if you don't hit that goal
Exactly.
as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, we do this for the joy of it. And yeah, it's been really lovely.
Hi, I'm Lauren Novak, author of Meltdown, Why Motherhood Makes Us Angry and What to Do About It. Mum rage, as you may have heard it called, came as a surprise to me when I had my first child. But it turns out that feeling furious with our partners, our kids, even ourselves, is an almost universal experience in motherhood. It's just that no one warns us. So after 20 years working as a journalist and at least 6 working as a mum, I've drawn on my experiences and those of hundreds of other mums to break down the taboo around anger in motherhood. In Meltdown, you'll find real stories from other families and insights from a survey of more than 200 women, my Angry Mums Club. I've interviewed top psychologists, GPs, and experts in nutrition, sleep, parenting, and more to glean their best advice. The result is part memoir, part journalism, part self-help, offering practical advice on coping with everything from the hormonal rollercoaster and sleep deprivation of early motherhood to juggling paid work and the infuriating inequality of the household mental load. With a mix of humour, understanding and insight, I hope Meltdown gives expecting parents the warning I never had and reassures those of you already in the trenches that getting mad doesn't make you a bad mum. You're not the only one losing the plot, and it's time we started talking about it. Published by HarperCollins on the 28th of January, Meltdown is available now in stores and online. Thanks so much for listening. Now back to the fabulous Book Deal podcast.
And then the other interesting thing that's happened was I got my first royalty statement at the end of December. And for this, so this was for the Butterfly Women. And it was so interesting. I learned so much. Like I thought I knew a lot about this because I've done like a lot of, these podcasts and we've talked about it. But yeah, it was so interesting. So what I discovered from that, so basically and this is different for every publisher, but for a firm, you get paid your royalties based on the months of between March and September, and then you get paid in December. And then from the month September to March, you then get paid in June. So there's like a 3-month delay, and it's over 6 monthlies. And interestingly, it broke down the sales, and the sales are sales that a firm have sold into bookstores, not people buying books from the bookshops. And that's very much the same for every publisher. So what you see on your royalty statement is actually the books sold into bookshops, not books that have been bought. And a firm and all publishers will withhold a proportion. It's generally like 25 or 30% of your first royalty statement to cover any possible returns, because bookstores can have up to 12 months to return the books. So it's, which is quite significant actually. Like that's quite a significant proportion of your statement. And I checked the contract. I didn't actually realize this. They can withhold that for up to and including 2 royalty statements, which actually means you might not see anything until the 3rd. So that could be another year from now. Which is, and that's probably fair enough because, if retailers can return them within the 12-month period, it could happen at any time. And then, the publisher has to cover themselves. And then the other interesting thing was the statement broke down the sales into bookstores, and I'm just talking about print books here, by discount level. And so what you receive is going to be different depending on what terms they have with the individual bookstores. So, for example, if they sold to bookstores at full price, so $34.99 RRP with like a 50% discount, which is pretty standard, then we get 10% of that. So that's pretty standard. So you're getting about, like, for an average book, like $3.50 or something per book. And this is for me, the largest proportion of my bookstore book retailer sales was in the high discount. So this is 55% or more, and that's basically your big W's and possibly airports and things like that. And that's where the majority of my sales went to, which is interesting. I mean, it's probably around 55% of the sales. And I calculated it, it's like maybe $1.50 per book for each of those books, because you're getting the 10% of the net receipts. So 10% of whatever, your publisher
Yeah, and that's based
receives.
on your price. So if you for your RRP for your book, so all books have, different prices.
No,
RRP.
not based on the RRP. It's actually based on what the publisher gets from their net
Sorry, I
receipts.
mean every book has a different RRP. So I'm just saying. So when you said $1.50, that was based on your RRP. So anybody else?
No.
Oh,
So it's actually based on the 10% of the net receipts the publisher receives. So this is the bit that I learnt. So, for example, if your book is, discounted at like, so it's okay, so say it's $34.99 and the publisher gives a 55% discount to Big W or whatever. So then the publisher will receive, I've just done the 55%. So the publisher will receive about $16 for that. So Big W is paying them $16, and then you get 10%
yes.
of that.
Yes, sorry. So what I was saying, so my RRP is like $16.99. So they're not getting
Yep.
$16 for that. So
No.
it will be different for that book.
Correct. Yeah,
Yes,
this is just
because
an
it will be
average, adult book.
So depending on your
Yeah.
RRP, like I'm not getting
Yes.
$1.50 for my Big W
No.
book.
No, correct.
That's right. Yeah. So it's a bit, it depends on your
Different for
RRP.
kids, but for like the standard adult book, you're getting so there's actually like a $2 difference between. So this is really interesting. If someone's buying your book from Big W, someone's buying your book from an indie bookstore, you're getting about $2 less per book, which is actually quite significant if you add it up. So
Yeah.
do encourage everyone to shop at
Yeah.
independent bookshops,
Yeah.
and even your Demixes and others who are not possibly getting that high discount. I mean, of course, it's great. Big W is amazing for getting books out there.
Shifts a lot of numbers. It does
Shifts
shift
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
numbers. It
numbers.
does.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that's interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah.
I learnt a lot.
Yeah. 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 Because it is, when you do get your royalty statement, there's a lot of lines on it, and sometimes it's a little bit hard to understand. So yeah, that's really helpful. And
But I
remembering
think
that.
if you're confused, definitely ask questions of your publisher as well. They're really happy to answer anything. And a firm like I had a couple of questions and they were immediately responded and were fantastic.
Yeah.
So do ask questions if you are confused, but just get prepped in your mind as well for that. If you are kind of a commercial fiction book, it's likely you're going to see that kind of similar proportions as well. Like it's just interesting.
Thank you for explaining that, Mads, because it is really confusing, isn't it?
It is. And I think I hope I didn't get anything wrong, but I think it's just good that, authors share and talk about this stuff too, because, it is confusing and it's really interesting. I just find it interesting.
And I was in a bookstore the other day, chatting to the lovely ladies there, and they were just boxing up all their books for returns. And I found it a little bit sad seeing them all go back. But I mean, they will all hopefully find homes elsewhere. And I mean, a lot of them were Christmas stock as well. Obviously, the stores, they're so small, they only have minimal shelf space. So, those books just hopefully just go back and sit in the warehouse till next Christmas. But yeah, it was a little bit sad to see them all go back. But yeah, just it's limited space on the shelf. And I'm talking boxes and boxes and boxes of them were going back. And And, you know, they were saying that some publishers don't pay for those returns either. So, you know, that's another thing that could be working against books being stocked in the stores, because it's a
What do you
gamble for
mean
these.
not being paid? Like
So
shipping costs?
some publishers will assist with the shipping costs back to the store, back to the warehouse, but some don't. And so that's just another thing that, you know, small bookstores have to think about when they are, you know, ordering in books is, you know, their budgets are so tight, and can they then afford to send these books back if they don't sell? It's almost costing them money for books that don't sell. So yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot that our indie bookstores have to work against. So yes, definitely support them where you can, I think is a good message here.
And Tasha, you've been working at the bookshop too.
Yes. I've only done a few shifts, but hopefully there'll be more coming. It's been just even in those few shifts, eye-opening. Like for me personally, firstly getting to know different writer names, like seeing what's what on, like, because shelving, I never knew I'd say this, shelving is proving to be one of the greatest delights of my life, because not only is it meditative, like I'm just seeing all these names that I'm unfamiliar with, especially kid lit YA and things like fantasy. I'm like, okay. These are, because especially the bookshop that I'm working in, Roaring Stories in Balmain, which is an amazing little independent bookshop, their shelf space is tiny. Like, so the owner, Dan, has to really think about the stock that he's ordering in. And just him explaining to me his thinking is just fascinating, like in terms of what he's ordering. So that's been amazing. And also just seeing what people buy. And all my nerd fantasies have come true, because when I went in to work there, I was hoping that people would come in to say things like, help me choose a book, I don't know what to read. And that has happened quite a few times. And I reckon I'm more excited than the customers, because like one time this woman was like, oh, so what if I don't like it? I'm like, yes, come back, talk to me. We'll chat about why you don't like it. And she was like, oh, okay. But I'm just having the best time. I'm having the best time. And it's just a side of the industry or side of the process that I haven't got to experience till now, you know, that book selling. It's really fun.
The way you're talking about it, you've just lit up, Tash. I can see this is like your ikigai, your joy there.
Yes. It's so
Hold
cool.
on to that.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
incredible. And some incredible insights too, isn't it? You're like a full circle author. You're understanding it from all the. Do you miss it, Madeleine?
Oh, so much. When you're talking and when you've sent a few messages through, I'm just so jealous. Like I really want to go back and dive in and jump in and do that. Oh, alas, the public service though.
So that was an extra thing that you did over the break.
Yes.
Tash, I thought you said you didn't do all that much. But I do want to ask something about, because it does sound otherwise, like you ladies had some time to relax and rest during that time. And that sounds amazing. And it's something that I would like to know more about, because I have a little bit of extra time now up my sleeve. And one thing and another thing with the journal is I thought I'd even try and put something in every day, like what have I done? Maybe like self-care, like and Tash, you've really inspired me about, you know, trying to know when to rest and when to relax and when you need to rest. And I thought maybe I can even just hold myself accountable by sort of writing something every day, or at least every other day, that I've done to switch off for a second, because I don't have much switch off time. And as I think about that, I actually think I don't even know what it is to rest. Like I'm not sure I even know what to do. And so I was really keen to chat to you both about what you do for rest, and if you have any tips or suggestions for me, it would be great.
I mean, I think rest just looks different for everyone. What works for one person won't work for another. For me, the most basic fundamental level is, what can I do, or what will now, for this moment, even if it's 10 minutes or an hour or a whole day, take demand off me?
Mhm.
That's my question when I go into rest. So if I'm feeling depleted and I need to just feel inspired or fed in some way, I will read.
Mhm.
If I need to just be on my own, I'll go for a walk. The thing with, I know a lot of people use social media or watching a show. They're all great. That's fine if that's what you need. But I guess I like to just check in with myself after, if I've watched a show that I've watched a billion times and it's my comfort show. After an episode, after a couple of episodes, I'll just check in with myself, like, has this just taken me away from something that's uncomfortable and distracted me, or has it actually helped me calm down or
Mm.
feel relaxed? And if it feels like I'm still a bit agitated, then what I've done is just distracted myself,
Mhm.
and then I will figure out what it is I need. So I know for me, rest usually looks like a lot of reading, a lot of reflection, and writing. Like, I can spend hours. Like, if I have a Sunday to myself, the entire day I will spend some of it reading in bed, some of it reading on the couch. And at the end of the day, I feel so full in a good way. And I feel like, now I can go back out in the world and do whatever I need to.
Mhm.
Mm. And rest can also mean walking, rest can mean running, rest can mean exercise for some people.
Mhm.
And for others, it can mean going and having a nap, or,
Mm.
cooking or cleaning,
Mm.
as long as it's not distracting. I think that's the thing that I
Mhm.
think is, it can be confusing, because people might use it as a distraction and feel like it's doing something for them, and that's the checking in afterwards.
Mm.
Mm.
I like that.
I think
like
that's a great advice, and that sort of questioning and checking in with yourself, it sounds really important as well. Like, why am I feeling this need for rest? What factors are around me that's sort of stressing me or giving me stress? And what can I do to help bolster myself to be able
Yeah.
to manage that? Because oftentimes you can't get rid of those stresses. It might be like family or work or like other things, but what can I do to build myself up and give me that resilience and strength to persevere?
Yeah. And Mads, was it you that's talked about time and how it's not about trying to keep away from something or spending less time doing something? It's, what are you devoting your time to? It was you that said
Yes.
that, right? Yeah.
Yes. What are you giving your time to? And this was because I did some training on time management as part of like a course I did at work. And they were talking about this CEO. She's incredibly busy. She's got a family and she runs a business. And someone called her and she was actually hiking up a mountain. It was like midweek, you know, during the week. And she was spending a couple of hours hiking. And she spoke about that as an example. Instead of, like, yes, the time that she took to hike took away from her business and her family and all that kind of stuff, but she actually sees time as something you give to. And in that moment she wanted to give time to going outdoors and in nature and enjoy that, rather than feeling stressed about what it took away from. She's thinking more positively about what it's
Yeah.
given.
Ever since you
Mm.
told me that, that has really shifted a lot of things for me. So now, for example, because I know rest can be really hard for people in terms of, what am I not doing? Now I'm like, you know what? This is what I'm choosing to do. It's what I'm devoting I'm giving my time to this.
Mm.
So that's
Yeah.
helped me a lot.
And
Value
not
it
thinking about
as
what's taking it away from. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and value it as importantly as all those other things that you have on
exactly.
your
Yes.
list. Yeah, it's like that saying, you should meditate for 1 hour every day, but if you're really busy, you should meditate for two. It's like,
Yes.
yes, because what, and meditate slash rest, it doesn't have to be 1 hour or 2 hours, but if you are super busy and you are super stressed, you actually need it more. Maybe it is
Yes.
kind of what it's saying, because then it helps. Yes, it takes away from that time, your productivity time, we shall say, but it will increase your productivity during the time that you do have. So it works out better. Yes, I
And
do
it's
like
going to
this.
look different for you, Tina. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, and this is something that I've done and practiced for the last 4 weeks, probably because the weather's also really nice, is like staying in bed and reading
Mm.
actually doesn't sound restful to me, which is so interesting, because I would get agitated that I haven't gotten up, made the bed, done stuff. Like I have this product, like I'm like, I've got to, get up. And I've just learned that that's actually part of me. Like I tried doing that recently, just, you know what, spend time in your pajamas, don't shower, just stay in bed and read. And I was like, no, actually, it doesn't work for me. So instead, my rest looks like getting up in the morning and going into the garden for just a couple of hours. And I potter around, I pull up some weeds, I do some watering, I imagine like what I want to do. And I just sort of, do that. I have my cup of tea, then I shower, and then I can sit on the couch and read for the rest of the day. Like that's my dream day. And that's what I was doing over Christmas, New Year. I was probably doing like 2 to 3 hours in the morning in the garden and then reading in the afternoon and napping. And that's like my
Sounds like the
ideal
perfect
life.
day. That sounds like the
Amazing.
perfect day. I think gardening is very meditative.
It
And
is.
yes,
It
I
See,
is.
and that's the other thing. I
yeah.
hate gardening, and because every time I get around plants, they die. So that's like, as you say, Maz, staying in bed readings doesn't sound good for you. Like
Yeah.
going out in the garden, I'm like, oh God, no, not for me.
So interesting. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to report back and I'm going to take notes in my journal of what I do in a day to just, yeah. What did you call it again? Take the demand off. Yes. I love that.
So,
Thank you.
Tina, why do you have so much time now?
Oh, well, I don't time. Do I have so much time?
Do
Because
you?
I fill it with stuff. It's very full-time still. But yes, I've just decided to take a little bit more time from off of work to I just, life's just very busy and I'm very fortunate to be able to have that opportunity to do that. So it's going to be, for a little while, I'm just going to spend my time writing more and spending time with the family because it's very busy and their kids are growing up so fast and I can see that flashing before my eyes and I want to take a moment to actually just sit with that and appreciate them while they're so young and still want to hang out with me.
I love that. I think that's
Yeah,
really
that's
lovely.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, and I just, it's a little bit scary to take that step back from something that you've worked at for 20 years. But I realize it's still very much a part of me, whether I'm working in it day to day or not, and has influenced so much in my life. And it's a bit scary, but I have full belief and faith in whatever comes of this extra time that I have off, which I will be productive, but also resting, which will increase my productivity, I'm sure. So yes,
It's a very
it's
courageous thing to do, I think,
It
Tina,
is.
actually. It's the harder path because suddenly then I don't know, it's just different, isn't it? Your life looks different. And
yes.
because I think you're a person too who like structure and
Mm-hmm.
you like routine
Mm-hmm.
and frameworks and processes and everything.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and
It's a lot of
it's just about,
change.
yeah, a lot of change.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's going to be exciting 2026 for all of us, I think. And yeah, I look forward to checking in at the end of the year and seeing how we all went with our goals and our dreams and our writing for the year.
Do you
Okay.
have writing goals?
Yeah, I do. And they look very different for the last few years because obviously the Wilder Zoo series has just been deadlines for like the last 3 years. And so it's a very exciting time to be able to just sit back and go, okay, where are we going next and what are we working on next? So, and I'm sure that the deadlines will come, but in the time between now and then, I'm just going to really enjoy playing with writing a little bit more because it's a space we've not really been in for a little while, Yeah, so I do. I have some goals of getting words down, finishing things I've been working on, but also just enjoying the other parts of writer life, the doing presentations and talking to kids at the schools and things like that. That sort of connecting with community and readers is a big thing that I want to focus on as well. So, what about you, ladies? Should we set some goals and some intentions? I think how lots of people do like a one word to describe one word as an intention for the year or something like that. And yes, I think I'm going to go with I should have thought about this a bit better. Maybe rest might be my word actually for the year. And yes, I've kind of explained what my goals, I guess, for this year are. But what about you, Tash? What are your thoughts for the year? Your intentions?
If it comes down to one word, curiosity.
Oh, I love
Maintain
that.
curiosity.
Okay, so we've
Awesome.
got rest and curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Did you prep us for this, Tina?
Not really. Come on, let's be on the spot.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe.
I think maybe like something like maybe a word like joy. Because I think
Mm.
I think with this book that I've been writing, it hasn't felt joyful, like the writing. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that was always the problem. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just trying to reclaim that.
Mm-hmm.
Reclaim the
Perfect.
joy. That's a little,
Perfect.
yeah,
That is a great,
sentence around
that's a
it.
great
Oh,
word.
what great
I
words.
know, rest,
Rest,
curiosity, and
curiosity, and
joy.
joy.
All right. So we encourage our listeners who haven't set an intention for the year or a word for the year, have a little think about that and I guess just keep checking in with it. And are we aligning with it? We can keep checking in through the year.
Yep, that sounds wonderful. Oh, well, we're going to have a great 2026, ladies, I think.
Woo!
Yeah, it's going to be a big year. I'm very much looking forward to it. Well, it was so lovely to catch up with you again, ladies, and so looking forward to this next few weeks of our interviews with our incredible authors that we have on, and then we get to catch up again and see how our first month back on went.
Can't wait.
Thank you.
Chat soon.
Bye.
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 Thank you for listening to the Book Deal podcast. We're able to bring you these weekly writerly chats because of our amazing patrons. Join the TPD family by becoming a member of our Patreon community at patreon.com/the Book Deal podcast. And if you love the pod, please give us a rating or review. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook.